Thank you. And it's to serve under your chairmanship. Could I also thank, I think I call you my honourable friend, for Horsham for the initiative to lead this debate. And although she's not here today, I also want to pay tribute to the member for Maidstone, who is a great campaigner on this issue. And I think that really demonstrates the cross-party nature of support for what we're here to talk about today. I'd like to just begin by also paying tribute to one of my constituents, Katie Swinburne. She's a mother of three and a very popular local school teacher. And she has lobular breast cancer. I first became aware of Katie actually through my predecessor, Deanna Davison, who was the MP for Bishop Auckland before me. And she did fantastic work supporting Katie as her constituent at the time. And anybody who knew my predecessor knows that when she picked up a single-issue campaign, she was a formidable campaigner. And so I became aware of her. And when I was elected, Katie asked to see me. And I was delighted to pick up the baton and to support my constituent. In fact, this Saturday, she is organising a fair and a tabletop sale in her village in Hilton to raise funds for the Lobular Moon Shot Project. Through Katie, I was privileged to be introduced to Dr Susan Michaelis and her husband, Tristan Lorraine. And Susan was visiting them in their home in County Durham. Because through the Lobular Moon Shot Project, I've observed a real sisterhood and solidarity that has emerged among those who are campaigning together. It's something to be in a position where you're told that your cancer is terminal is something that I've never experienced and find difficult to imagine. But I do imagine that people facing that have a choice about how they spend their remaining years, months and weeks on this earth. And do they spend it on holiday? Do they look for to enjoy all of life's riches and pleasures? Well, Susan chose to spend it in the service of others, campaigning for the science to be done to develop a cure for lobular breast cancer. She founded the Lobular Moon Shot campaign and has been, I think, not just a campaigner for better cancer research funding, but also has developed a real group, solidarity of people that are suffering from this type of cancer. And I was privileged also to meet Susan and her husband and to learn about the Lobular Moon Shot campaign. And as we've heard already from the member from Horsham, this was not her first experience campaigning. She has success campaigning on aviation safety, in particular the jet fuel and the pollution in cabins, which is a potential cause of her own cancer. The Lobular Moon Shot Project so far has been successful in raising significant funds. Those funds have been used to develop funding proposals, to develop the early work. And as we've heard, there is an opportunity to fund significant research at Manchester University. And I must declare an interest. I'm a Manchester alumni myself. And I was privileged to meet with the campaigners and the former health secretary. That led to a commitment from government to issue a highlight notice to demonstrate the importance that the government places on this type of research. The government's approach has been, and I do respect this, to say that whilst we all, of course, want to find a cure and need to do the scientific research, that it's important that this be through a peer-reviewed process, through competitive funding rounds, because that produces the best science. But it is absolutely vital that those funding rounds do exist, and that the funding is made available to meet this particular need. And as we've heard already, the unique part of lobular breast cancer is it's very difficult to discover. It often goes undetected. Indeed, only 28% of cases are detected in stage 1, compared to 38% in non-lobular. There's 8,400 cases a year, And what the campaign is calling for is for the discovery science to be done. And I appreciate that the Minister today is answering on behalf of the Department for Health, but we also need to have engagement with the Department for Science, Trade and Industry on this, because what we need to see as well is UKRI bringing out bespoke funding calls that universities like Manchester can tap into to make sure that this vital work gets done. And I was privileged to meet with Professor Rob Clark from Manchester and hear about the work that he's doing. I'll make sure to leave time for others, but I just want to conclude by urging the Minister to really pick up this issue, because we're 2 years on since I was elected. We're about 3 or 4 years on since I first heard about this campaign. Progress has been made, but progress is too slow. And it's important when we have this many people that are really, in situations that I can't really even imagine, are giving their time to campaign for something that's so important, not even necessarily for themselves, but for the generations that come after them. I just implore government to listen to their calls and to do what we can to make sure that the correct funding calls are available, so that we can, once and for all, get this research done and answer these people's pleas. Thank you.